Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 6:21 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioners Cavell?
Here.
Gershenson? Here. Gingell is excused with notice. Hoffman? Present. Jackson? Here. Johnson? Present. Joliet?
Here.
Long?
Here.
Lubes? Here. Markham? Here. McGilvray?
Here.
Miller?
Happy to be here.
Nelson is excused with notice. Powell? Here. Rahman?
Present.
Smith Charles?
Present.
Spiz?
Present.
Weipert?
Here.
Woodward?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This will move us to the invocation this evening, which will be given by the Honorable Charlie Cavell. And so if everyone, Charlie, people can please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, everyone. Please bow your heads in reverence to the God of many names and no names at all. If anyone knows this one, this is a serenity prayer. I'm trying to do it from memory, so if I need help, please chime in. Is it on? Yeah. All right. So this is the serenity prayer, if anyone knows this. I find it to help me a lot. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage, the wisdom to know the things we can, and the courage to know the difference. Close. You get it. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This will move us to approval of the minutes. Is there a motion? Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner McGilvray. The minutes from our January 12th meeting. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes have been adopted unanimously. Next up, I need approval of the agenda. Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Joliet. Any discussion? See none. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. That will move us to communications, and we've got a number of communications, and I will call on Clerk Brown to read the communications.
We have a proclamation.
Oh, we do the I apologize.
Top one under.
Led by Commissioner Mark. I apologize. I'm looking at my cheat sheet here and it's a little disorganized there. So Commissioner Markham has a proclamation and presentation this evening.
Yeah, and I'd like to invite Christopher Cowden, right?
Yep.
Why do you have here? So, Mr. Cowden is a constituent of mine, and it was brought to my attention that he has done a lot of work to raise awareness of Marfan syndrome. So I'm going to read this proclamation, and then I'm going to give him a minute or two to tell us a little more about it and why he is so interested in this. So, whereas February is designated as Marfan Syndrome Awareness Month to raise awareness about the condition and help improve the health and well-being of people who are living with this inherited disorder, and whereas approximately 1 in every 5,000 individuals worldwide is born with Marfan syndrome, which affects the body's connective tissue. This tissue holds cells and organs together and plays an important role in the body's growth and development. And whereas Marfan syndrome can impact the heart, blood vessels, eyes, bones, joints, and lungs, resulting in varying degrees of disability, pain, and musculoskeletal issues. And whereas men and women are affected equally by Marfan syndrome, and it occurs among all races and ethnic groups, Whereas because there is no known cure for the syndrome, bringing attention to it is important in preventing and treating its serious and even life-threatening complications. And whereas treatment varies depending on the area of the body affected and helps those with Marfan syndrome manage the condition and its challenges, research and advancement in treatments, medications, and surgeries allow people with Marfan syndrome to live long, productive lives. And whereas in our community, and that is the city of Northville. Oh, I'm sorry. Christopher Cowden, a 16-year-old student at Northville High School, is inspired by his younger brother, Charles, to increase public awareness about Marfan syndrome. Charles is 13 years old and has undergone open heart surgery to repair damage Marfan syndrome has inflicted on the valves and aorta. And whereas we join with Marfan syndrome patients, families, and advocates in raising awareness of the condition to ensure proper diagnosis and treatment of affected individuals throughout Oakland County and beyond. Now, therefore, David Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Commissioner Markham and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special commendation to the Cowden family in recognition of February 2023 as Marfan Syndrome Awareness Month in Oakland County. We thank Christopher for sharing his brother's story and wish Charles health and healing. So I'm going to turn this over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Commissioner Markham. And just to briefly explain my situation. So this past October, I learned that my little brother was going to have open heart surgery in December. And of course, that's incredibly scary. But I recognized we're in an incredibly fortunate situation. And so many other people are affected by this who are in not as fortunate of situations. And so if I'm able to help people in those situations who might not know that they have this syndrome, who might not have the financial security to get surgeries and the such, then I will do everything in my power to do that. And so I hosted a fundraising event in which we raised $15,000 for the Marfan Foundation. And I intend with the proclamation of this county, and also hopefully with proclamations potentially from the state and also from Northville Township, to inquire educators if they would be willing to educate students about Marfan syndrome, because it's really important to have younger students know about it, as that's usually the age in which it's diagnosed. And a lot of the time, according to some stats, about half of the cases go undiagnosed, and it's incredibly dangerous, as those undiagnosed could potentially have fatal symptoms such as an aortic dissection. And so if I'm able to help people, I believe that's exactly what I should do. And I thank the commission so much for doing this, as I believe it's a step in the right direction.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go up here and say that. And if your mom wants to come up and join me. You want to come up and join us?
Sorry. Okay. Thank you again. An incredible accomplishment. So another round of applause for your leadership. And another shining example of a guarantee that our future is bright with leadership, young leadership like you. So thank you. And now I will call on Clerk Brown to read the communications.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few tonight, so hang in there. The first is dated January 20th, 2023. Dear Commissioners, please accept this letter as notification that I am reappointing Solon Phillips and Gordon Snavely to the Claims Review Committee. Sincerely, David Coulter, Oakland County Executive. The next is dated January 26, 2023. Dear Commissioners, please accept this letter as notification that I've made the following appointments to the Oakland County School Mental Health Grant Program Oversight Ad Hoc Committee for the 2023-24 term. Sean Carlson, member. Laura Dodd, member. Sincerely, David Coulter. Next is dated January 25th. Dear Commissioners, please accept this letter as notification that I am reappointing David Vanderveen to the Airport Committee. Sincerely, David Coulter, Oakland County Executive. Next is dated January 25th, 2023. In regards to the Tax Increment Financing District Ad Hoc Review Committee, dear Mr. Woodward, please be advised that pursuant to miscellaneous resolution number 21477 and the policy attached thereto, I am appointing William DeBasi as representative and myself as alternate representative to the Tax Increment Financing District Ad Hoc Review Committee for the 2023-2024 term. Sincerely, Solon Phillips Corporation Counsel. Next is dated January 24th, 2023. Dear Chairman Woodward, pursuant to Oakland County Board of Commissioners miscellaneous resolution number 14231, which authorizes the treasurer, the Equalization Division, Economic Development, and Corporation Council to designate an alternate to the Tax Increment Financing District Review Policy Ad Hoc Review Committee. I'm writing to inform you that Jill Robinson, Deputy Treasurer, Property Specialist, and the Executive Director of the Oakland County Land Bank Authority will serve in this alternate capacity. I believe that Jill will be an asset to the committee. Sincerely, Robert Wittenberg, Oakland County Treasurer. Next, dated January 26, 2023, in regards to the appointments of a 2023-24 Board Rules Study Group to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please be advised of the following appointments to the 2023-24 Board Rules Study Group to review, examine, and propose the rules of the Board of Commissioners for the 2023-24 term. The study group shall report their recommendations to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee. Commissioner Janet Jackson, Chair, Commissioner Gary McGilvray, Commissioner Marsha Gershenson, Commissioner Angela Powell, Commissioner David Woodward, Commissioner Michael Spiz. Thank you. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chair, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Next one is dated January 26, 2023. Dear colleagues, please accept this letter as notification of my resignation as chairperson of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, effective immediately. Transparency and integrity are fundamental in every action this board and its members take, especially individuals in leadership positions. Doing the right thing can be difficult. Speaking up for what is right, even when you're afraid, is always the right thing to do. It has become increasingly evident that I cannot serve effectively in a leadership capacity without compromising those principles. Sincerely, Kristen Nelson, Oakland County Commissioner. And the last communication this evening is dated January 26, 2023. To the Oakland County Board of Commissioners regarding the update to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Standing Committee leadership. Please be advised of the following changes to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Standing Committee leadership. The Standing Committee shall now be structured as follows for the 2023-2024 term. The Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee will consist of Gary McGilvray as Chair, Brendan Johnson, Majority Vice Chair, Karen Joliet, Minority Vice Chair, Janet Jackson, Kristen Nelson, Penny Lubes, Bob Hoffman, and Michael Spiz. Thank you. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chair, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And I think that's it for tonight.
Motion to receive communications. Moved by McGilvray, seconded by Cavell. Any discussion? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting the affirmative. The communications are received. This will move us now to the first public comment of tonight's meeting. This is an opportunity to speak on any item on the agenda. We'll have a second public comment to speak on items not on the agenda at the end of the meeting. I have a couple people who signed up, well, I guess a person who signed up, and then we'll, if there's anyone who wants to speak that didn't sign up to speak on items on the agenda, please just raise your hand and I'll call on you. You can come to the microphone at the back of this auditorium right here. We have a little clock here. We ask you to keep your comments limited to 3 minutes. Please direct your comments to the chair. And I will start first with Coleman Yacom. Sorry.
It's a hard name, plus my handwriting. Not great.
I was like, I know who you are.
Sorry about that. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Coleman Yoakum. I'm the Executive Director at Micah 6 Community. In the consent agenda from the Finance Committee, this week is an approval for $2 million in ARPA funds for a project that we're undertaking in our neighborhood. It is the redevelopment of the vacant Webster Elementary School on M59 here in Pontiac. We're turning it into a community center. We have 100% of our tenants are committed. It's ULSA's putting in Head Start classrooms. We're working with SMART on an indoor bus stop. We've got a small grocery moving in, after-school kids programs. PAL is moving in to do basketball, volleyball, and martial arts in that space, and a number of other tenants that we're really excited about. So I had the joy this past week of talking to the Finance Committee and sort of laying out our plan and giving them a lot more information, but just wanted to come tonight as it is on the consent agenda and just say thank you so much for giving an eye to our project, for all the support and encouragement that so many commissioners have given this project over the years, and we're really excited to see it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing this opportunity to us. Anybody else that would like to speak during the first public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Again, there's a second public comment at the end of the meeting to speak on any item unrelated to the agenda. That will move us to the consent agenda, which is where the bulk of our meeting is today. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Smith-Charles. Any discussion on any of the items? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote on the consent agenda. Okay. So consent agenda is not listed on the agenda, so the prompt that's going to come up is for the consent agenda, which is for all items on the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee, the Finance Committee, Legislative Affairs, and Public Health and Safety. It's all the consent agenda, but I don't think the vote's going to, it might just say Finance Committee, but it's for the full, it will be recorded as the full consent agenda.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Yeah, just 1 second. Go to save, yeah. We go.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution, the consent agenda is adopted. That will move us. I mean, the regular agenda. There is no items under the regular agenda. All of those items were taken under the consent agenda. It moves to reports of special committees. There is none. Special order business, none. Unfinished business, none. That'll bring us to new and miscellaneous business. And so, the first up, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Janet Jackson.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to, under new and miscellaneous business, request to suspend the rules to consider appointment of Eric McPherson to the Oakland County Road Commission.
Moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The rules are suspended, and Commissioner Jackson, you move the,
Yes, we're bringing forth, again, Eric McPherson for the appointment to the Road Commission of Oakland County.
moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just like a point of order here. Per our existing board rules, we follow a committee process. This discussion was had in committee last week, I believe it was, to go out for interviews for this position. So how can we now bring a completely separate resolution to this board floor for this position without addressing the the motion that was on the floor in committee?
Commissioner Spiz, I guess I'll address that. It had been discussed at great length in the majority caucus that a recommendation would be brought forth. Normally, it's brought forth at the very first meeting. That is consistent with every term of past that I've been on this board. The motion before us is appropriate. We've suspended the rules to take up the motion today. I'm aware of what happened in committee. It is not congruent with the decision that the majority of this board has made.
I hear what you're saying, and I can understand your points because it has happened that way in the past. But however, per our board rules, don't we need to address procedurally the motion that was made in committee today that has been approved by that committee to go out for interviews? So to me, this is out of order, and you can't go this route until something is addressed with what's been done in committee already.
Like I
From a
said,
procedural perspective.
procedurally, the rules have been suspended to take this up immediately. So that supersedes all of those others.
So if we suspend rules, it suspends all our board rules 100%.
It suspends the rule to bring the motion forward.
I agree that it suspends the motion to bring to the board floor for this motion, right? But there's a motion that was already approved in committee, and per our board rules, that motion has to be actioned on to come to this floor. So right now, that motion is going to sit out there in limbo
will.
forever
I believe
unless something
Lago will
happens
take
at
up
this
that.
board member, at this full board to address it. And right now, there's nothing in place to do so.
Lago will be meeting at their next scheduled time. They will take it up in Lago. Lago will address that motion.
But then how could you do this before you do that? It doesn't make sense. From a process flow perspective, that doesn't make sense.
The motion
You
is
cannot make
appropriate
an
before the
appointment
body.
and then rescind a motion in a committee 2 weeks later. Procedurally, it doesn't make sense to me.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I am a member of Lago. We had a lot of discussion about that, and it was a vote to have interviews. We set dates for interviews. We set a date to send applications out so people can send their resumes in. So are you telling me that the action of any committee here can be overridden by the chair or whoever's in the majority? Why should we even vote on anything if the chair can decide what we're going to do? I don't understand it. We voted, we followed the rules. It was a majority vote in there. We voted to have interviews. We voted to, have a meeting and make a recommendation. And I have a real problem with this. I just think this is not proper. It's not a dictatorship.
Commissioner Long, followed by Commissioner Gershenson. I'll respond before we
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. So my concern is, I wasn't on Lago, so I hear what they're saying, my fellow commissioners, but I am concerned now that all three, the road commissioners are from the south end, which is completely turned around. I did like how the last time we had one from almost every quadrant. So at this time, I'm not going to be supporting it because of that reason. I really do believe that the road commissioners, there should be representation, and I always did. If there wasn't someone from the south, there always should have been someone from the south. But now we have 3 road commissioners, all from the south end, and I represent the west end, and I know Bob's the north end, and we're over that way. And so I'm a little concerned just because the road situation over there is way different than the south end. We still have dirt roads. So I'm going to vote no at this time, but just because of that, there's no representation of anything but the south end this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gershenson, followed by Commissioner Joliet.
So I was at the Lago meeting, and I was very uncomfortable with the way things were progressing because at the last meeting in December, the Democratic caucus had decided on a candidate. We were also told, the entire caucus was told, if you have anybody else, they should apply. I was very concerned that the Republican caucus wasn't notified. I was told that our meetings are on your television and that you are watching our meetings. However, I have requested staff to make sure any directive that's given to the Democratic majority would be given to the Republican caucus as well. So to me, it was an inappropriate action that took place in Lago because the caucus chair represents the will of the caucus. The will of the caucus was to make the appointment at the very first meeting, and it had support of the entire caucus. The chair of Lago violated her responsibility in representing the majority caucus. So I considered it an invalid action and voted against it. So I do support this moving forward.
I guess Commissioner Joliet.
I concur with my fellow commissioners in terms of question of procedurally what it means, what we do in committee, and how this is affecting that. But more so this candidate, and I don't know him, be a great guy, qualified. I don't have a resume, and I haven't met him. And usually in Lago, we get to meet the candidates even after we've said that they have a great resume. So that's my concern, to not be able to support this.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spiz, followed by Commissioner Hoffman.
So what I'm hearing is our rules aren't worth the paper they're written on, is what I'm hearing right now. And then Commissioner Gershens, in some of your comments, last time I checked, the caucus doesn't make official decisions for the Board of Commissioners. They have to be either made in committee or on this board floor. You guys can assign direction to your caucus, which is fine. But in Robert's rules, I don't believe there's anywhere that dictates that a majority caucus makes a decision. And that's what it sounded like you were stating.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Ever since I've been on this Board of Commissioners, we've had discussions about interviewing people. And I know Commissioner Gershon was a big advocate of that. And we had discussions about if everybody on the committee has a consensus candidate, we don't want to waste anybody's time and do interviews. But this was bipartisan vote in a committee, so you're suggesting that our vote doesn't count for anything. And then you made a statement that at our next Lago meeting, we're going to take something up. What are we going to take up? You're deciding for the committee right now. Because we were told we're going to have interviews, we'd narrow it down to whatever, and we'd make a recommendation. And that's what we do. We're doing this backwards. We're putting the cart before the horse.
Okay. I think all has been said. Let me respond to it. Commissioner, since you've asked me a direct question, let me respond. As long as you and I have been on this board together, the majority caucus has always made the recommendation of the road commissioner. That's exactly what's happening today. The full board, to Commissioner Spiz's point, is making this decision, and that's this vote today to be taken up. The action of committees are recommendations to this full board, and the full board is taking action tonight. Seeing no further, Commissioner Weipert.
I would prefer to see a resume, and I would echo what Commissioner Long said, that it'd be some nice equity if we had from different areas of the county.
Understood. Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas, 5 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The appointment of Eric McPherson to the Road Commission is confirmed by this board. Mr. McPherson, I know you're in the audience. Why don't you please stand so we can congratulate you. Congratulations, sir. Next, under new and miscellaneous business, I'll call on Commissioner Joliet.
Hear me. To support the continuance of the Mentors Plus program through the Oakland County Youth Assistance. And if I could have it referred to.
Is
Or public.
Lago's the liaison?
Oh, or public health and safety. I was told that that falls under the court, which.
Is that the, that's the courts, that's why. So it would be referred to public health and safety.
Okay.
I would support that motion.
Yep, it's referred without objection. Any other new and miscellaneous business? Seeing none, I will bring us to announcements. I would like to make the first announcements, if I may. It takes my personal privilege. We have a special birthday in the house, and so I want to wish a special happy birthday to County Clerk Lisa Brown. You do not want me to sing, though. So happy birthday, and make a wish, and have the best year, another loop around the sun. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you. So I have two announcements. It's actually newly elected chairperson of the caucus's birthday this Friday, I believe.
Oh, that's actually, this past Tuesday, but.
Oh, past Tuesday. So we still say happy birthday. My fault. At least I didn't forget you. How about
All right.
Right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The second one is I'm proud to announce that legislators bipartisanly passed the rollback of the retirement tax today in the Senate.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations. There we go. Any further announcements for the group? See none, I will close announcements. This will bring us to the second public comment for tonight's meeting. I will first call on Paula. I have a list here, so I'm going to go through this list first, and then if you didn't sign up, I'll call on you if you just raise your hand. Again, please, same rules as before. If you can come to the microphone at the back of the auditorium, if you can state your name and community of residence. We have a little clock up here. Please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes. Direct your comments to me, the chair. And first, I will call on Paula Durkis. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Paula Dirks. I live in Berkeley, Michigan. And I've been a volunteer with the Mentors Plus program since 2000. And I learned about it through then Jennifer Granholm, who made a presentation at my church one Sunday. And I've mentored 3 young ladies in the last 22 years. The first had been, she and her 3 siblings had been abandoned by their mother. And her father reached out to Mentors Plus to help with his one daughter who had special needs, Chelsea. I'm still in relationship with her. She's 32 and has a 6-year-old child now. The second child was Ebony, 15-year-old, just released from Children's Village. I mentored her for about 90 days because that was a requirement of the program after she was released. And we had a very good relationship for that period of time. And the third young lady in 2015, name of Charlotte, she was 10. Her father was dying of ALS. Her mother reached out to Mentors Plus to help her kids have fun experiences away from the very stressful home. I lined up a friend of mine to be her brother's mentor, and that was a long-term relationship as well. I've been on the Royal Oak Youth Assistance Board of Directors since about 2007. I hear firsthand at every meeting about the teenage depression and suicide that's going on in our schools, the opioid crisis, the out-of-control vaping problems, gun violence, which we're all aware of in all the different school districts, and how they're impacting our kids and families in Oakland County. Now, more than ever, our kids need an extra positive role model in their lives to proactively guide them towards making good decisions every day because they have regular contact with an additional caring, positive role model. So they need us more than ever. Please retain the Mentors Plus program so all the youth mentors and the mentees have the support and guidance and screening that is so important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, I have Ernestina Moore. Did I say that correctly?
Almost.
Almost.
It's Ernestina Moore.
Pleasure.
Yes, my pleasure as well. Good evening, Commissioners. I stand before you, like Paula before me, in support of the Mentors Plus program. I too serve on the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance Board, and I can truly tell you the value of this program to the youth in our community. I have had my mentee since 2015. She's one of 6 children. Her mom reached out to the program because, as you can imagine, being a child of 6, she needed some additional resources to help kind of guide her through the process of life, through school. We have conversations on a weekly basis. Now that she's old enough, she has a cell phone, so we're able to communicate by that means. But I wanted to give you my personal experience so that you can have a relatable story as you contemplate your continued consideration for this program, because she has gained so much for this program, as I have as well. She's now officially a part of my family. She's of Mexican descent, so we're looking forward to attending her quinceañera this year. So her family has really embraced us as we have embraced her as well. And just to give you guys, again, a point of reference about how instrumental this program has been to her and so many other children, that she has continued to progress in school, socially. She's more adept in terms of having conversations with other individuals. She's grown in terms of her interactions. She's looking to join the volleyball team. She's being very proactive in her siblings' lives in terms of being a leader for them as well. So I just want to implore you to consider continuing this program, because again, it's so meaningful to our community, for the individuals who are now trying to come through the pipeline. And I would hate for any individuals or families to not have the opportunity to benefit from this program that has been so meaningful to me, to the other participants, and has been so beneficial to the children who are coming through the families who have been there for such an extended period of time. And my mentee's mom has also reached out such that 2 of her siblings are also part of the program. So again, it means a lot to that family and others who are looking to join the program. So again, I ask that as you contemplate the continued consideration, that you think about those examples and so many others of those that are not here and present to voice their stories as well. And just as a testament to my commitment to the program, Paul and I literally dropped everything to be here this evening because Julie Stent, the current director, said it's on the agenda. I immediately said, can we go and speak on behalf of the program, because it's, again, something that we're very passionate about. It's something that we care about, and we definitely want to have the continued support from this organization to continue those efforts. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you very much. I know for many commissioners, this just came up on our radar, and so it's going to be going to the committee process, so we're not taking direct action today. But I know I'm going to make sure that our staff gets both your contact information to be part of that conversation.
Thank you.
Next up, I got Lee Stallman. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Hello, commissioners. First of all, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Lee Stallman. I used to be a guest in Oakland County. I grew up in Oakland County. I went to Hazel Park schools when I was younger. Moved away, came back. I'm going to make this long story. I met a couple of you last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and trying to bring it attention. I spoke with Dave Woodward's publicist and got a meeting with Mr. Woodward, and I think that maybe the commission here would want to take an interest in my situation. I'm currently filing a civil suit against Oakland County for what I experienced. It was a pure retaliation for First Amendment activity. I experienced a 22.5-month malicious prosecution, a conspiracy to fabricate evidence against me. It went from the sheriff's department to the prosecutor's office to corporate counsel. I'm trying to keep the madness to a minimum and work with the county. Doesn't seem like, not the board here, but the corporate counsel, I think you might want to take it out of their hands and deal with this, because this has gotten out of control. They tried to put me in prison for 3 years for a crime I didn't commit. And the treatment that I'm still receiving to this day is horrendous. It's despicable. And I don't think you guys have any idea what the sheriff's department and the prosecutor's office is capable of doing in this county. I'm a 54-year-old man at this point in time. I was tased in the back while I was on my knees with my hands in the air. The guy lied, the deputy lied, fabricated a 5-page story to justify what he did to me? I could go on and on. Well, you guys, if you took the time to hear what I went through, you would be appalled. You would literally be appalled at what I went through. And I think that maybe there should be some interest in this. If any of you are interested, I have a thumb drive. You can download my civil suit that I filed with the federal court. I have copies here, if you're interested, of what I'm willing to do at this point in time to resolve this without pushing it further and causing more problems for the taxpayers of this county. I got a copy of the civil suit right here. If any of you are interested, you're more than welcome to come and ask me questions. I'll give you all my time. I'm transparent. I'll tell you anything and everything you want to know. But to get to the bottom of it, Oakland County has got some deep problems that you guys might want to look into. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak during public comment? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Lalonde. I'm the chair of the Road Commission for Oakland County. I just wanted to welcome our new commissioner, Mr. McPherson, to the commission, and thank the Greater Commission for giving me my third person. And I wanted to address, I understand the concern about location and where representation is coming from, and I can just give you what I see. I live in Clawson. I know the urban areas, and I have made it an effort of mine when something comes in front of the board to drive the area that's related and to make myself available to reach out to the parties that are interested, to learn as much as I can to educate myself on areas that I may be a little less versed on. And I can guarantee that the new commissioner will be guided in that direction as well. And Commissioner Quarles is also obviously very well versed in this county. So I can assure you that we do what we can to be the best representative of the entirety of the county. That has always been very relevant to me and very important, because I don't want it to ever be that I came in with an agenda and did anything. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve the entirety of the county, and I will do my best to impart that on our newest commissioner as well. And anytime anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach right back out to me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will close the second public comment of tonight's meeting. And that will move us to our last item of business, which is adjournment till February 16th, or call of the chair.